genome organization, how it is there in the cell, how it is organized in the human cells. So what are the elements which are present in the genome? So we are discussing now. So this is the genome organization. Here, this is the cell. So in the cell, so we are having chromosomes. So we are having 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs of chromosomes, and 22 pairs of autosomes, and one pair of sex chromosomes, X and Y. And these chromosomes are made up of chromatin fibers. So these are the chromatin fibers, and these chromatin fibers are supercoiled and forming the chromosomes. So chromatin fibers are containing DNA molecules. So these DNA molecules coil around the a protein part that is called histone. This is a histone protein. So around this histone protein, DNA molecules are present. It is looking like a bead. Histone proteins along with DNA is coiled and forming a chromatid. So chromatin part will be formed. And finally, these chromatin fibers will be supercoiled, and finally it is forming a chromosomes. Here chromosomes are present in nucleus. So nucleus is covered by two layers. Nucleoid is present, and there is no nucleus layer in the prokaryotic cells. So we need to know about the genome. So genome is a set of DNAs, and which is mainly giving the hereditary information. Every cell is having a genome, and in body is completely made with genomes, and these genomes will be looking similar. So in cell 1 the genome, and in cell 2 genome will be same, but here in this genome is made up of genes. These genes, nearly about 25,000 genes are available in human body. 25 genome genes will be representing some phenotypic features like eye color, height, enzymes, proteins, etc. Genome is completely a set of DNAs which is providing hereditary information, which is passing hereditary information. And these genomes are containing DNAs and RNAs, and it is not only present in the eukaryotic cell, it is also present in viruses, bacteria, every animal as having genomes. And these genomes are made up of genes, and these genes are having two types like coding genes and non-coding genes. And coding genes will be coding the information, and it is passing the information to the mitochondria and to produce the proteins. And non-coding genes are not involved in the functional processes. It is non-functioning sequences, and which will be useful for formation of tRNA, rRNA, etc. So we are discussing about two important things, that is prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So in prokaryotic cell, genomic DNA forms a single circular chromosome. Here it is having a single circular chromosome which doesn't have any nuclear membrane, and here it doesn't have any basic proteins also. But in eukaryotic cell, it is having a DNA which is associated with a basic protein like histones. So we have already seen that. So these are the histone proteins. So here DNA will be circled around these histone proteins and forming a nucleosome. So nucleosome which is containing histone proteins along with DNA. And in eukaryotic cell, DNA is associated with basic protein histones and form a long chromatin fibers. So we have already seen that. So these are the long chromatin fibers which are supercoiled and forming a chromosomes. Chromatin fibers form a network enclosed in the double layered nuclear envelope, and it condenses into chromosomes during cell division. Chromatin fibers and DNA is completely condensed in the single nucleus, but here in prokaryotic cell, it is not condensed. It is a circular chromosome. Circular chromosomes are available. It is dispersed in nature, and it doesn't have any histone proteins. Basic histone proteins will not be available in prokaryotic cells. It lies in the cell cytoplasm. So there is no nucleus and there is no nuclear membrane. Circular chromosomes which are present in plasmids, and it is present in nucleoid, especially in nuclear region. And this is eukaryotic and prokaryotic cell. This eukaryote is having a nucleus, and here prokaryote is having a nucleoid. It doesn't have any nucleus and nuclear membrane. And here a circular chromosomes will be present. Here we are having 46 chromosomes are available in the nucleus here. So these are the ribosomes, and here mitochondria is also present. And here nucleus is having genome. So sometimes what happens, this genome which is having hereditary information that is passing into mitochondria. by mRNA, messenger RNA. Messenger RNA will take the information and take the genes, and it is sending to mitochondria. And here at this mitochondrial region, so many enzymes and many proteins will be generated by this information, which is given by a nucleus. And this is the comparative genome size of organisms. Different organisms are having different base pairs. For example, Homo sapiens are having 3.2 billion base pairs will be present. So 1 billion means 100 crores, that is 320 crore base pairs will be present in a Homo sapiens. So genes are different and genomes are different. So genomes are a set of genes, and here genes 25,000 unique genes will be present. That means each gene is responsible for one phenotype, like it is useful for the formation of protein or enzyme. So different genes are responsible for different process for formation of different phenotypic features. So nearly in human 25,000 genes are available. That means we are having many phenotypic features due to presence of these 25,000 genes. Average genes density here, one gene is responsible for the phenotype out of 1 lakh base pairs. And chromosomes here we are forming 46, so 23 pairs of chromosomes will be forming. And if you see the mouse here 2.6, and here also it is also having 25,000 gene number, and here also 1 by 1 lakh, and here it is having only 40 chromosomes. So in this way, here different organisms are having different gene number and gene density and chromosomes number. So this information, this genome organization is very much important to know the genes of the different organisms. So from this gene information, so we can identify the or different organisms, and we can identify the different phenotypic features also we are identifying by using these genes. And we have already seen that this is a chromatin, so which is present in the nucleus. And here, so this chromatin is condensed and chromosomes. So this is nucleosome, so which is containing histone proteins and DNA. And this is a chromosome. So here chromosome is having centromere and telomere. And here also this DNA will be packed, condensed at these regions. So next one is chemical composition of chromatin. So chromatin is a fiber which is having many number of histone proteins along with DNA. And it is also having, sometimes it is also having RNA also. So now we are seeing the chemical composition of chromatin. So chromatin is having DNA, RNA, and proteins. Here proteins like histone proteins. DNA will be 20 to 40% will be present in the chromatin area, chromatin fibers, and RNA will be 5 to 10%, and histone proteins will be 50 to 60%. So most of the part will be covered by histone proteins. And DNA, so most important chemical constituent, so which is useful for the coding process, for the preparation of proteins, enzymes. So this DNA is very much important. And RNA, so RNA here it is different types: ribosomal RNA, messenger RNA, transfer RNA. So which is about 5 to 10% is available in the chromatin fibers, and 55 to 60% is chromatin is having histone proteins. So here histone proteins are very basic proteins, so are present in chromatin, but in which histones are occupying 60% of proteins. Histone is also a very basic protein. So finally 100% proteins are present in the chromatin, so which is occupying 55 to 60% only in the chromatin fibers. And these histone proteins are very basic proteins, and which are 5 types: H1, H2A, H2B, and H4. And the next one is non-histones, so which is occupying 20%. Here 60% is occupying by histones, and non-histones are occupying 20% of chromatin proteins, and remaining 50% of these proteins will be acting as enzymes and coenzymes. So total 100% will be obtained. So 60% will be histones, and 20% will be non-histones, and 20% in which 50% is contractile and 50% will be enzymes and cofactors. So this is the histone protein, and around this histone protein here we are having DNA molecules. Histone proteins are basic nature, and DNA is having acidic nature. And this histone protein is having octet shape. That means it is having eight 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 pages with eight angles will be there, octet shape. You know already. And this is the H1 protein, so which is present outside the histone, and combinedly these two are called to be nucleosome. So nucleosome is having histone proteins along with DNA molecules. So here DNA double helix. So it is having 2 nanometers of width will be present, and this which is made up of nucleotide base pairs. And here these base pairs are combined here at this histone region and forming a nucleosome. This is called nucleosome, so which is containing a histone protein along with DNA. So this is nucleosome beads on a string, so which is having 11 nanometers of width. And these nucleosomes are present in the chromatin fibers, and which will be 30 nanometers width. And these chromatin fibers so will be present in the form of loops. These are the chromatin loops, and which is having a 300 nanometers width. And these chromatin loops are condensed and supercoiled and forming chromatin loop domains, and which is having 700 nanometers. And finally, so these supercoiled chromatin loops are present in the chromosomes, and it is completely forming a chromosome. These chromosomes, we are having 46 chromosomes, 22 pairs autosomes, and one pair of sex chromosomes, X and Y. So which is having here, this chromosome is having 1400 nanometer width. So this is a double DNA double helix. So the DNA double helix is forming nucleosome with histone proteins, and these nucleosomes will be forming a solenoid. So that means it is a it is a chromatin fibers coming very close to here, and here these chromatin fibers are finally forming sorry, um, nucleosome. And here, so these eukaryotic chromosomes are having repetitive DNA. So out of 100%, so most of the time, that is 95% or 98% will be repetitive DNA. So very less amount of non-repetitive DNA sequences will be present. And that non-repetitive DNA sequences will be giving the feature and coding. It is useful for the phenotypic formation of phenotypic features. See, here we are having two types of genes, that is single copy genes, and second one is repetitive DNA. So most of the times we are having repetitive DNA, so which is having 5 to 45% of repetitive DNA, and very small amount of single copy genes will be present. Here there is no repetition of base pairs, which is around 1.5%. So here this single copy genes will be responsible for the functions of different proteins and enzymes. And here repetitive DNA will not be useful for that. And here the mutation, if you see the mutation of single gene and repetitive gene, so single gene doesn't have this mutation, so it will be always same. Like humans are always having 25,000 genes only, so they are 25,000 genes will be responsible for 25,000 different phenotypic features and a different formation of different proteins and enzymes. And here there is no mutation for this, very less mutation will be there. So almost more times 25,000 genes will be available. It will not be mutated, it will not be changed, always will be same. But here repetitive DNA is having more mutation, but in single copy DNA genes, so it doesn't have any repetition or very less mutation. And occurrence here once in genome, so it is we have already told that one in 1 lakh genes. Here it is very rare, so it is non-repetitive nature, and it is very long. Single copy genes are long DNA strands, and repetitive are short DNA, but it is very repetitive. It doesn't not single copy genes are doesn't repetitive. And here it is occurring in once in genome, but it occurs in many times. So many times, but this repetitive DNA is not useful for the function. It is not useful for the main phenotype function. Here it is the single copy genes will be using for making proteins, enzymes, so will be formed here. And this repetitive DNA will be useful for, it is not translated, it is not going to the, it is not going to the outside of the nucleus, that is, it is not going to the mitochondria, and it is not translated, and it is not reaching to the ribosomal area. It is not useful for the formation of molecules. And here, so here a single copy genes will be useful for, it is not useful for the profiling, and so this point I will discuss later. And here the single copy gene will be long, a unique sequence. It is not repetitive, unique sequence. It is useful for the formation of proteins, and here repetitive will be very intensified, repetitive, and but it is having short repeating sequences. And for example, for single copy genes will be exons, and example for repetitive DNA will be introns. So this is the chromosome. Here it is having repetitive DNA. So mostly 95% will be repetitive DNA, and these are the telomeres which are present at the end of the chromosome, and this is a centromere. So these telomeres and centromeres are containing satellite DNAs. So here eukaryotic DNA, so which is three types, that is unique DNA, repetitive DNA, and spacer DNA. So we have already discussed that single copy gene and repetitive DNA. So here single copy gene will be unique DNA. So this is a single copy gene and repetitive DNA, and this is the spacer DNA. The spacer DNA which is present in between the DNA genes. Sorry, in between the genes. So that means here repetitive DNA, which are shorter in size, so which will be attached, and in between the genes here spacer DNA will be present. And this is unique DNA, which is a unique in nature, and we are having a few unique features. It is mainly due to this unique DNA. And this repetitive DNA is again two types, that is sequence with function and sequence without function. So functioning sequence and non-functioning sequence. And functioning sequence will be useful for coding. And again, it is divided into two types, that is coding sequence and non-coding sequence. And coding sequence will be again two types, dispersed gene family and tandem family. So it is actually repetitive DNA is not completely useful for functioning. It is not producing the phenotypic features. It is not producing the proteins or something, but it is useful for the coding. So it is useful for the coding of the DNA genes, sorry, gene sequence. And here sequence without function, non-functioning sequence will be three types: highly repetitive, and mediumly repetitive, or tandem repetitive and transposed DNA. And this tandem repetitive is again two types: mini satellites and microsatellites. Here it is mainly divided on the base of the intensity. So here highly repetitive is more intensified, it is medium intensified, it is rarely intensified. And the number of base pairs also will be different here. So here it is comparatively, it is having more number of base pairs. Why? Because it is intensified, and it is having medium base pairs, and which is two types: mini satellites and micro satellites. And last one is it is having very less number of base pairs will be present, that is transpose and retroposons. And with these retroposons are again two types: lines and signs. So this is the organization of genome.